Our messaging posture never has changed. We're still using the talking points directed to the Arab world, even if it's inflaming the tensions, even if it's instigating people across the region, hate us more and be more frustrated with us because they hear the double standard. When we condemn an attack on Israeli interests, but we don't condemn the death of Palestinians.
Unfortunately, these themes just keep playing out. I mean, she said it herself there in so many words. What are we trying to accomplish here? There's lots of people that actually do understand all the things that we're talking about here. And yet somehow our leaders either can't or won't get it. And she went on to say that, she tried many times to do the right thing, that, through internal memos and other conversations and she was just basically laughed at and just said kind of move to the side there and be quiet. That's the problem that we have, is that the people who are running the show aren't listening to the people underneath that do have this good advice. Some of the things that I say here, folks, I was saying behind the scenes in our Future Combat Systems program in the past, where we were trying to build a military to fight future wars. And I told them privately, officially in memorandums, this cannot work. Here's the reasons why. We're going to have to do something different. And I paid a big price for that. I told people about the war in Afghanistan. This is going to fail. We're going to lose. I literally wrote that in public as far back as 2009. I said, we will lose if we don't make these changes. And of course, no one's going to listen to, at that time, a young major or even later on when I was a lieutenant colonel, because I'm not a general. And until you get up to that point, nobody listens to anything because they're invested in the system. It's the same thing over and over. The people at the top are thwarting the many people in the organization who do have good ideas, who do know what they're talking about, and they're just taking these absurd actions. And it's just, unfortunately, because these people replicate themselves at the top. So people like Halal there, or people like Doug McGregor, I could tell you a long story about how he never even got promoted past colonel, even though he should have been catapulted up to the 4-star general level, that he got sidelined because he didn't play the game. He wanted to do what actually mattered, and he was willing to call a spade a spade. So of course he got thwarted, even though his combat record and his training record were matchless in the military. But that's what happens to people like her. That's what happens to people like Matt Ho, who we have on this show a lot, in the State Department. He resigns over frustration that no matter what he tells these people above, they don't listen to it. And then, of course, those others who are rising up, they see what you got to do to get along, and they will replicate themselves. And they'll say, oh, yeah, boss, you're totally right. You know what? I see a lot of potential in you. We're going to promote you. So the guy who plays the game, they're the ones who get sent up through the ranks. And then once they get at the top, they just keep keeping everybody else down. It's just insane. It's just gut-wrenching. It's hard to watch. But that's where we are today.